Dear ladies and gentlemen, I would like to start first of all from giving gratitude to Metro and to Ukrainian Swiss Business Association for assembling this really very nice and very unique and very, I would say, cozy event. And I'm so happy that so many Ukrainian people have got together and they see each other. And plus, in addition to that, we have so many Ukrainian friends who would like to cooperate and work together with Ukraine. I'm here to talk more about the sentiments of business in Ukraine, to give you more understanding of how the situation looks like in the business community of Ukraine. I represent European Business Association, as Metro said. This is the family of around 900 companies operating in Ukraine. And this is the biggest association for foreign business in Ukraine. Collectively, we employ around 2 million jobs. We create over 2 million jobs in the country, and we pay transparently all taxes to the state budget. And also last year, we set up in Switzerland our extraterritorial business development arm, which is Global Business for Ukraine. On the next slide, here you can see the Swiss businesses that are already EBA members. And we thought that it would be really good for Swiss-based companies to understand that even if you would like to actually continue business in Ukraine, you will not be alone. So this is also some sort of competition. On the next slide, you see the business sentiments. Here we have different groups of things which we analyze, because European Business Association, which has an office which is strong around 70 persons in Ukraine, or 75 persons in Ukraine, all the time we are making regular polls and surveys of our membership. And we see that currently almost all companies are working in Ukraine. 99% are operational, either with certain limitations or fully, it depends. We also see that salaries are properly paid, primarily in full. Now we see, in comparison to the previous several months, the amount of companies which pay extra fees, extra salaries, a little bit decreased, but nevertheless, you see that 23%, if I'm not mistaken, 21% of our members pay additional salaries to employees to support against the war. We also see that war-induced losses are growing, but the major part of our members suffer from $1 to $10 million of losses. The general mood is in the business community is to support Army of Ukraine to get the victory in place. And also, when it comes to mobilization stuff, we also see that as a very big problem, because lots of people are drafted to the army or will be drafted to the army, and it causes troubles for the business operations. And this graph, you see the changes of sentiments of our members throughout years. And the current sentiment of on 5-grade scale is at the level of 2.48. It means that the medium of sentiments would be 3, the best is 5, and the worst is 1. Now we are a little bit less than in the middle. And the sentiments and mood is increasing in comparison to the beginning of the war. Because when the war started, the mood was at the level of 2.17. But even that being said, it is not the fact that companies are not investing. We see lots of, not lots, but there are some companies which invest to the country. Kingspan invests 200 million euros. Nestlé plans to invest $43 million. Bayer plans to invest 60 million euros. Lemtrans, USAID, Kernel, Unilever, 20 million euros. So it means, even despite the fact, by the way, Unilever, it was really very fun, not funny, but nevertheless interesting story, because Unilever lost their plant in not far from Kiev, but nevertheless, they still decided to invest because they see potential on the market. And somehow we were thinking, what can we do as the business community in order to help Ukrainian companies or Ukrainian-based companies to promote their investment projects. And also quite often our counterparts abroad ask us where they can invest to. And we created our investment map together with Ukraine Invest. And this investment map contains different projects. At the current stage, 116 projects. We accept information about business plans from the state authorities, from local authorities, directly from private sector. So those ones who are interested about this publicity, please feel free to contact us, and we will consider how to place your information into investment map of EBA. At this slide, you see main challenges that the business community face at the current stage. And they are pretty straightforward. Actually, companies are suffering from impossibility to plan in advance for obvious reasons. It's really very difficult to plan anything at the current setup. Second thing is actually logistics, because those companies which are exporting or importing, they are obviously going through hurdles on the border, or they have difficulties in ports, because seaports are closed and only limited, directions, limited channels are working like grain corridor. The next difficulty is limitation of travels of mails, because as I said, lots of mails are being drafted to the army, and that's why it causes also impossibility of mails to leave the country as well. So because only certain categories of mails can leave the country according to the law. But since we represent business community, we understand that communication is important. It's important to see you, it's important to talk to each other, and that's why companies also quite often raise the issue of the need to settle the issue of business trips, free travels from and into the country. Next point, which is also troublesome for many companies, is migration of Ukrainians, because lots of Ukrainian refugees are everywhere in the world, from 5 to 10 million people, so it is very difficult, different statistics, and it's being upgraded on regular basis, it's very dynamic, but nevertheless it causes troubles on the local market. Because obviously companies are calculating for the local market, and when so many Ukrainians left the country, obviously it impacts the operations. And by the way, what is the observation now, I can tell that when I talk to companies, and just on almost daily basis, I see conservative, cautious optimism. People are optimistic, and even despite the fact that their business cycle or business operations are down 20, 30, 40% in certain cases, they still are cash positive, which is really very important. And final thing, which is also somehow lagging behind and putting our businesses on hold when it comes to investing, it's no political risks insurance. And I was so happy to see the presentation of Hervé yesterday from SECO, who told to Swiss businesses that actually SECO is going to launch some sort of mechanisms to support those ones who dare to invest to Ukraine now, who would have actually pretty good appetite, risk appetite, and they could actually make this step forward, and also to protect exporters. Why Ukraine is an interesting place for business? Obviously, we see in the whole probably vast majority of those ones who understand all the benefits of why it is necessary to invest into the country. But here is just a list of those ones which we believe it's important to mention. So very close position to the European Union. And by the way, actually, Ukraine is being prepared to become a member of European family. And from what we understand, Ukrainian government is very keen to go and join the European Union. So it means they will make all necessary job in order to upgrade the Ukrainian infrastructure and logistics and regulatory environment. And in this respect, private business will have to have a say. Next thing which is important to mention is reconstruction, rebuilding, transformation of Ukraine, which will definitely need your support. And here, from what I see also from companies, that they might suffer now but they are waiting for incredible boom when Ukraine is going to win. And this is really very essential to see that at a certain point it's necessary to be earlier than later on the market. Then Ukraine is a very fertile country. It has lots of really fertile lands and soils. So that's why agriculture would be really very good and beneficial thing to do. IT, digitalization, it goes without saying. We are out of competition, it seems to be, on the European market. Basically, what else? Ukrainians, they are really very creative, smart people, and I think that they could be really very good contribution to the Swiss-based company's success. What else? Perspective sectors, because quite often I'm asked where to invest, where they can help, where companies can help. And I can tell that, normally I tell that sectors where companies could find their success in Ukraine are really enormous. Because nowadays, lots of transformation is happening on the market, and it will require more. So that's why, like, immediate and obvious sectors would be logistics, infrastructure, energy, food, agriculture, creative industry, so lots of things. But obviously, by the way, land clearing, because mines, there are lots of them. So lots of opportunities, obviously, in different sectors, not always in the positive manner, but still opportunities are there. So final slide, how can we bring more value to your businesses during the rebuilding process? And here, since we have two mandates already, European Business Association and Global Business for Ukraine, I can tell those ones who are based in Ukraine, who are working on Ukrainian market and for Ukrainian market, I guess it would be more than necessary to, not necessary, but at least you're welcome to become a member of European Business Association. Because in EBA, we will be able to provide you advocacy, some support, B2B matching, education services, etc. So we would be helping you to be part of broader business community and business family. When it comes to global business for Ukraine, it is more for those ones who are outside of Ukraine yet and who would not want to actually come to Ukrainian market now, at least now, but they would like to connect and have ties with Ukraine. So I'm speaking about foreign companies, global firms who would like to catch the opportunities of reconstruction and rebuilding. For them, it's worthwhile to actually consider membership in Global Business for Ukraine, because then we could connect them and such companies with Ukrainian counterparts. And also Global Business for Ukraine is for those Ukrainian companies, Ukrainian-based companies, who think about global expansion. I think together we can grow. Of course, GB4U is a young organization. It was set up only last year, but we have really big ambition to grow globally because we would like to bring value to you for your success. Thank you so much, and I wish everyone a very nice day.